Hello time travelers, this is a quick video about a little script I wrote to help me with my cryptocurrency mining, and I'm putting this out there as a question to people on Reddit to see if maybe they want this script to be put on GitHub or something, and maybe they'll help me improve it. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's just that Reddit, sometimes people aren't helpful and it's kind of like a risk. You know what I mean? Anyways. This is my look of disapproval. Here's my Claymore miner running on my Miner 3. And there's two reasons why I'm still running Claymore, even though it's really old, hasn't been updated since 2019. Number one, it has remote monitoring software, which you can add your own scripts to, going through a bunch of hoops to reboot the machine if the mining software locks up or Windows locks up or whatever. And number two is because of this mining script that I made. So, to give you an idea a little bit what the problem is, I'll hit this checkcards.bat, which comes with my Autominer. This part and this part checks what order they were enumerated in. So when you're troubleshooting a mining rig, say it's got 12 GPUs or something, and it's crashing and you don't know which card is causing it, the literal method is to plug in one card at a time, and that I'm not patient enough for. So I would plug in two at a time, let it mine for like 10 minutes, turn it off, plug in two more, turn it on, mine for 10 minutes. Keep doing that until it wants to crash or be buggy again, then I know it's one of those two cards. But this method addresses the driver shenaniganery that happens when Windows enumerates your cards in a different order than the last time. It's weird. I even drew a chart once saying, okay, this 1660 Super plugged into this slot, that's PCI 1, and this one is 2, and then 3, and then the next one was 0. So I'm writing this all down. But then it's not in that order at all. It's like completely arbitrary. I can't figure it out. So what happens is if you have your overclocks set in the mining software itself, like this machine has 4 GPUs. You got your core clocks, your memory clocks, and your power limits, your core voltages, and your memory voltages. If it re-enumerates your cards in a different order, you have to come in here and edit these. But this is a million times more reliable than Afterburner, because the same issue happens to Afterburner. In Windows Registry, it assigns these weird GUID things to each GPU, and it loses it. It doesn't know where that GPU is anymore on the clock, so that the clock settings for MSI Afterburner are stored in little files with GUIDs in them. So Afterburner is not going to help you. This system will. So if I go and I edit the source of checkcards.bat, and it's just running this VB script, check.vbs. So I'll show you check.vbs, and this is like where you configure your folders or whatever. Checkcards.bat sends in the argument check. It checks the arguments and then assigns a method to whatever argument you passed it. There's mining, which creates the mining thing. So in either case, whether you're mining or just checking what cards there are, it connects to Windows WMI, checks Win32 video controller, and then it creates a text file with all the cards that were found. And for each card, it writes down some information for that card. Then it runs check.bat. So what this does is run a PowerShell script and outputs whatever it found into check.txt. Check.txt is also doing the graphics cards. Whole bunch of garbage that it finds on each graphics card. And then the VB script reads that file and basically figures out what order the cards were enumerated in on the PCI bus. And I can't even tell you how many, probably weeks, cumulative of my time this has saved me with my 3 mining rigs. Because right now I have 24 cards that I mine with, including the one in my editing rig, and it doesn't mine all the time. But when I was troubleshooting, sometimes I'd be up till like 5 in the morning when I got work that day. Like, no, freaking way, I don't want to do that anymore. And this would shave 6 hours of troubleshooting off because I don't have to set the clocks again. Because this thing knows my clocks, and I'll show you where it knows the clocks. It automatically creates this folder that says GPU configs, and if you launch it and it sees a GPU model that you don't have a config file for, it makes one like this, except that all of these parameters are all 0. So let's say you set your clocks and you find your good clocks. Like for example, this 1660 Super is power limit 75, core clock 0, memory clock plus 900. You get that, right? And then you go in here and you find your 1660 Super and you put that in, the equivalence, which minus 25 is the equivalent of 75%. And you just hit Control S to save it, Alt F4 to close it. And when you run the Autominer, it creates a batch file like this. So this is the 1660 Super with memory clock 900, power limit minus 25, core voltage 0, which means don't touch it, and memory voltage 0, which means don't touch it. And it works 99% of the time. But I'm planning on changing it to where it works in Gminer, because Gminer's updated often and supports some newer coins, etc. And Ethereum won't always be mineable when it goes to proof of stake, you know what I mean? So if you guys want that in GitHub so that we can be a collaborative effort to improve the script and also port it over to Gminer, do keep in mind 2 things. I'm gonna need your comments below in the video and stay on topic. You know, you're gonna be testing it and you might say something doesn't work, and we'll have to figure out how to fix that because it was tailored for what folder it's sitting in. The biggest obstacle to running it is that it knows where each one of its little parts is. And I tried to configure it to where I can move it from one computer to the other, and that's how I got my 3 rigs working. Like here's my miner 1 with 11 cards, and here's my miner 2 with 8 cards. Actually, this last one is the APU, the 5600G CPU, but I don't overclock it. Whatever. Anyways, and now it's starting to get awkward, and that part of the video where I don't have anything left to say, and one part of my brain is like, keep going blah 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 about stuff and things, and the other part of my brain is like, no, close out the video. So if you're just interested now in seeing more of my videos, here, you could click over here to see when I try to mine with a GTX 960. I actually made that video before I made this script, so you can watch me be frustrated. And whatever YouTube thinks is best is down there, and you can subscribe to the channel right here, and you can check out my soundtrack channel right here. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.